Hey guys, welcome to the show. This is the Crawford County, Illinois Ghost Hunter Society live paranormal talk show. I'm your host, Jason Snyder, here tonight, and we've got a lot to talk about, so you guys definitely hang in there. We've haven't had a show for a while, so I definitely have to catch you guys up on what we've been doing, our investigations and everything. And we're going to be announcing our haunted tour schedule, so hang in there, guys. This is episode number 56. You can visit our website at crawfordcountyghosthunters.org. Check it out if you haven't been on there for a while. We do need to update that thing. I haven't had time to do a whole lot here lately. But you guys can still email us at illinoishauntings@gmail.com if you have any type of paranormal activity you've been experiencing, or anything in your home, business, or any other location. We investigate free of charge. We're in this for the research. We take a scientific approach to investigating paranormal occurrences and phenomena. So if you do have any type of activity or anything going on, or you know of a place that might be haunted, send us an email or message us on our Facebook page. Our Facebook page is, pop that up for you guys. You're probably watching from there, but we also dual stream to YouTube. Facebook page is facebook.com/Crawford County Ghost Hunters. Send us a message on there. If you also want us to investigate a location, check us out on Facebook. We're dual streaming to YouTube. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, definitely check that out, guys. It's youtube.com/Crawford County Ghost Hunters, or at Crawford County Ghost Hunters on YouTube. Just get on there and subscribe us, give us a like. We'd appreciate that. We've also got an Instagram page, which we don't do much with, but it's instagram.com/Crawford County Ghost Hunters as well. Our phone number, and this will be our phone number also for the haunted tour season coming up. You guys can always call this phone number, reserve a spot on one of our haunted tours. If you want to go back through the video later on to get the phone number again or write it down, we are going to be taking reservations for our haunted tours, and I'll pop this number up throughout the night when I start talking about the haunted tours again later on. But as always, our music is by the Midnight Syndicate. All rights reserved, used with permission. You can check them out at midnightsyndicate.com. They've got some stuff on YouTube and Spotify also. If you guys are into horror type gothic style music, check out the Midnight Syndicate. So it's been a while since we've done a little show here, guys. So I'm going to try to keep you updated on everything we're doing, have done, and all the stuff we're going to be doing here in the near future regarding our haunted tours. I've got a few announcements to make, though, here right off the bat, just to let you guys kind of know some of the stuff that's going on. Even though my intro video still has Cami/Sophie in it, I have removed her from the team. I kicked her off, and she's no longer on my team. Again, that is Cami/Sophie. She was a co-host with me here for a while, and we'll just leave it at that. But so there was a few things I had to cover up that she kind of messed up on, and some stuff she done. But yeah, Cami/Sophie is no longer part of the Crawford County, Illinois Ghost Hunter Society. We have kicked her off. So like I said, she is in the intro video, but I've got to change that video up and get a new one going here. But again, we take an extremely scientific approach here at the Crawford County, Illinois Ghost Hunter Society. And I feel like when I have team members that don't take it seriously or do not take that approach, I have to remove them and move on and get new team members. So the last draw, she had posted an orb video on her page and tagged me in it and said that we captured this magnificent orb at United Methodist Village, and it was a dust particle. I'm a big fan of, debunking videos, debunking photographs, and when we start to lose our ability to debunk things and take a scientific approach, I had to step back and, take a look at the way I want my team to move forward in the future. And, sometimes people just aren't a good fit for the team. She was extremely, good co-host. I enjoyed having her. She done a good job and was dedicated, but had to remove her. Still friends with her, nothing bad like that. But, like I said, I want to take a scientific approach when we investigate. And orbs are definitely not paranormal. Most, they're dust particles. A lot of times people will post pictures of orbs, claim they're, a ghost or spirit. These can pretty much all be debunked as dust particles, pollen in the atmosphere, rain, bugs, you name it. People will post these photographs and videos up and claim they're paranormal in origin. I went on and on about how, they aren't. It's just the infrared light bouncing back off these objects, making them look like there's some type of paranormal anomaly. But anyway, I'm going to get off of my little rant on that. But guys, we've had a really good time though investigating here lately. We had a trip to Tennessee, which was pretty cool. We did go to the Bell Witch and the Bell Witch Cave, and I'm going to start out kind of talking about that also. I mark some of my stuff off my list here as I talk about it. But yeah, so we recently went to Tennessee on a trip, and I'm going to get into our haunted tour schedule later on. So please, if you guys get tired and go to sleep here within the first 30 minutes or 45 minutes of the show, get back on, rewatch the show later on, because I am going to go over the complete list tonight on our haunted tours and events and where we're going to be going. Sorry, I dropped my paper there. But going back to the Tennessee trip, so we left and went to the mountains. We basically went camping in the mountains for a little while, went hiking and backpacking in the backcountry of the Smoky Mountain National Park. And I'll tell you what, guys, if you haven't been there, especially ghost hunting related trips, we kind of went as a relaxation trip to start out with, and then we were going to hit the ghost hunting stuff on the way back. But I found too much stuff while I was there, and knowing me, I had to investigate it. So we started investigating different places around, the Smoky Mountain National Park, where there's cemeteries everywhere, backwoods cemeteries. It is awesome there. If you guys have never been there, especially if you're a paranormal researcher, investigator, or interested in paranormal stuff, just full of folklore and, strange occurrences that have taken place in the Smoky Mountains. A lot of the things, some of the cool stories was like the 411 stuff and the missing people that have just vanished into the Smoky Mountains and nobody's ever found them. Missing hikers, missing just photographers that went out to photograph nature. They just go out there and disappear. And there's a lot of stories on YouTube and the internet regarding missing people, and they just vanish into thin air in the Smoky Mountain National Park. So just a lot of cool legends and stories about that place. And we could go back. And the sad part about this is, guys, like we could go back and do like 100 live feeds there because there's so many locations. I mean, I filmed that many locations while I was there, but there is absolutely no signal. There's no phone signal. There's no internet signal once you enter the Smoky Mountain National Park and you get past the little Gatlinburg Welcome Center there going into the Gatlinburg side. You get up into the Smoky Mountains, there's no signal whatsoever. So when we were camping and hiking up there and investigating some of these locations, I had a Garmin inReach. And if you guys aren't familiar with what a Garmin inReach are, they are pretty cool. This thing's like a satellite communicator. And basically you can communicate through satellites, the Iridium satellite network, and still get messages out to people, if you're in trouble or anything like that. So I was always carrying one of these when we're out backpacking and hiking up in places like, the Smoky Mountains or Shawnee National Forest, even when we're down in Southern Illinois. Not a lot of good signal, but those things are just extremely cool. If you've never heard of them, kind of giving a little product shout out here. But Garmin does an extremely good job with their GPS system, especially their satellite communicators with the inReach series. And you can get, you can text message people, you can send satellite messages. Of course, there's a subscription fee. You have to pay monthly once you buy the inReach unit. But I'll tell you what, it's worth every penny, because when we're down in some of those trails, and even in the mountains, we can get out if we were happen to, if we happen to get hurt, lost, whatever it may be. And it's got an SOS button on there that you can signal and get help. So pretty cool device there. Kind Okay, guys. I hope some of you are still here. I have no idea what just happened. Talk about losing signal and weird paranormal stuff. Um, Very weird. I think I'm back on the air. I'm not 100% sure. Don't know if I was on the air the whole time. So, weird. Very weird. Yeah, yeah. He said, "Don't know the host has disappeared." After I just got done talking about people disappearing in the Smoky Mountains and bad signals, so get a Garmin inReach. I hope some of you guys are returning back to the show here, having some weird problems. This is kind of what happened last time I tried to start the show, and this is why I haven't had a show for a while. Because every time I try to start the show and do something here lately, and it's just been happening within the past couple months. Um, all kinds of strange things have been happening. So, uh, just weird. But I think we're back on. Lost half my viewers, but hey, they can go back and see the rerun if they don't get back on here. I don't know what was up with that, but anyway, guys, can you in the comments section, can you see and hear me? Give me a yes if you can see and hear me now. Okay. Yeah, Kayla, I am streaming to YouTube and Facebook at the same time, and I may have to quit doing that just because of the slow feed here and the internet problems. I may have to just always stream to Facebook from now on. So I apologize, guys. Like I said, I lost most of my viewers, and it's probably not going to notify them that we're back on the air. So they're just going to have to go onto the site to see. Very weird. Anyway, I'm back online, I think. But yeah, next show, I think we're going to not stream to YouTube just to see if that helps the problem. But anyway, we were talking about our trip to Tennessee and the places we were going to investigate there, and there being absolutely no cell phone signal, no internet signal there in Tennessee. I was talking about a device we use, just in case we get in trouble. So trying to catch you guys up if you're just returning. But we investigated several little churches in the Tennessee area, and that they were extremely, extremely secluded, back hiking trails. One of the locations we investigated was called the West Prague Trail, and it was a location that led up to the Appalachian Trail. We were going to do some backcountry camping back this trail, and we came up on this old cemetery where I just had to go hunt because I mean this thing was just crazy, creepy looking. So, and I'm going to post pictures of all this stuff, like the places we investigated there in the Smoky Mountain National Park, just because we had no signal, so I can't go live. We did take a little bit of video footage that I'm going to post up here and there regarding it also. But I apologize because we couldn't go live. It'd been cool if we could have. But yeah, the pictures are on Courtney's phone because like I say, we were way back in the woods. We were taking pictures on her phone. She's been working a lot, so I've got to grab her phone for about 10 to 15 minutes one of these nights so I can post the pictures up to the Facebook page and show you guys some of these locations we investigated while we were at the Smoky Mountain National Park in Tennessee. So the West Prague Trail Cemetery, though, we went up, and that's one of the few locations we experienced some very, very strange activity. We started out hiking up the trail, and I don't know how many of you guys are on my personal page on Facebook, but I think I've maxed out on my friends on my personal page. I'm getting close to 5,000. Facebook will not let you have over 5,000 friends on a personal page on Facebook. So, but I posted this, and on my personal page, we also got pretty much on the way to one of the locations in Courtney's car, got attacked by a little bear. Not really attacked. It kind of punched the window. I don't know what you'd call it. It was a small bear attack, but it came up to our window, and I rolled the window down like an idiot. And I film this bear, and it starts coming over toward me. So I rolled the window up really quick, and the bear punched Courtney's car, and kind of left a pretty good scratch mark on her car and mirror. And she was freaking out and everything. That's hard to explain to the insurance company when you're from Illinois that you got attacked by a bear. Your car got attacked by a bear anyway. If I got attacked by a bear, I'd be slinging lead at it. But Luckily, it didn't come to that. This guy decided to back off. But anyway, guys, the pretty cool stuff happening. But going back to the West Prague Trail, talking about this bear we seen, we were always on the lookout for bears. Because I called the National Park Service ahead of time when we got the backcountry camping permit to go into the backcountry and backpack, and they told me the bears were pretty active in the areas we were going into. So when we were hiking up this West Prague Trail, we had bear spray, I had a firearm on me, all kinds of stuff. It's legal to carry there if you got a concealed carry permit, so I was legal to carry into there, and we started hearing some weird noises up in front of us on the way to the cemetery. We see the cemetery pop up on my GPS, and I'm like, we got to hike over to that because it's up the trail we're going up anyway. As we're hiking up the trail to the cemetery, I didn't see this, but Courtney swears she's seen a mountain lion cross the trail in front of us. Now, I was looking down at the GPS, so, it could have happened. And we were in an area where mountain lions had been sighted like a year or so before, I read, after we got out of there. But yeah, she swore she's seen a mountain lion just take off shooting across in front of us across this trail. So of course I'm on full alert at that time. I've got my gun and my bear spray out, one in each hand, and we're hiking on into this cemetery. And the cemetery is just absolutely, I can't even tell you how creepy this thing was. It had a little gate and fence and nice. We will post pictures of it, but we started hearing some strange sounds. Now, it might have been paranormal. Ben says it's a chupacabra. It could have been a chupacabra. I want to lean toward the natural side because I'm not, I don't camp a lot in the Smoky Mountain National Park. I'm more of a, backwoods camper around here, but I've camped all over. But I know sounds. It was either a mountain lion, screaming at us in the background, circling around us, or it was some strange phenomena associated with the cemetery we had entered. Because it didn't start till we entered the gates of the cemetery. The second we entered the gates of the cemetery, we start hearing this screaming sound all around us. And, of course, freaked her out. And I was trying to figure out, where it's coming from. I keep dropping my cards here, my index cards with all my notes on it. I'm looking around the cemetery. I'm not seeing anything, but this thing's getting closer. And toward the back of the cemetery, I have never seen this in my life. I seen this purple glowing mist start to form in the back, section of this big cemetery. Freaked me out. It almost had its own illumination. I did have a headlamp on, and I turned it on, and you could still see this purpley mist forming, and I had no idea what it was. It just kind of dissipated over time, and we kept hearing weird sounds, weird noises, like a guy talking. And trust me, we were the only two out there. We were secluded as you could be in the middle of the park, because we're up part of the Appalachian Trail, which goes into West Prague Trail. We were in a secluded area of the Appalachian Mountains, basically there. And I still don't know what it was I was seeing. I tried to take pictures of it. It wouldn't show up on my camera. And then we heard sounds like people talking and screaming, coming from the woods again. And the only natural explanation I have for the screaming, like I say, is she did see a mountain lion and it was circling us. And because mountain lions make, if you never heard one, they make this screaming sound. I'm not a good mountain lion impersonator. I apologize. But it was pretty weird. That's the only thing I can naturally say it was. But I looked it up. They said mountain lion sightings in the Smoky Mountain National Park are pretty rare, but leave it to us for it to happen to us, because that's our luck. Car got attacked by a bear, and then we see a mountain lion on the trail. So it could have been a mountain lion. I don't know. I can't say it was 100% paranormal, but this cemetery had some strange stuff going on regarding the mist I seen and just some strange, just activity. We did pick up a couple EVPs there. I'm going to try to get the EVP audio loaded up too, so I can play it on the next show. Courtney Bowen says, "How does that go again, the mountain lion?" I think I'm going to pass on that, Bowen. I can't do my impersonations twice. Yeah, Ben, it was about like Hills Have Eyes stuff. It was pretty strange. Uh, but yeah, the old churches around the Smoky Mountain National Park are just scattered throughout the park, and there's cemeteries everywhere there. But long story short, we investigated in through there. The only activity we found was in the cemetery I'm telling you about, and we investigated a lot of locations. We went into this one church. This was right as it started to get dark, and we heard singing coming from outside the church, and like it was a pretty secluded area too, where you had to hike up a trail to get to this old. It was like an old Baptist church, I believe, and we heard singing coming from in there, and we was like, somebody's got to have a radio playing in there. I mean, this is like sounding really good, really loud. We're approaching this church, and we're hearing this singing. We get inside, and there were like three Amish girls in this church, like singing out of a book, like a hymn book for church, a song book. And it was the most angelic sounding voices I've ever heard in my life. We started to record them, and they didn't care. We actually have a short video of them singing, in this church, because like we didn't know what was going on. Somehow they had hiked and walked up to the church too, and we got up there, and we see these three Amish girls singing in there, and they were extremely good. I mean, these girls need to make a CD. I mean, I thought it was coming off of like a stereo, and that the acoustics in there, these old churches are just amazing. So, you can just hear them for a long way, echoing through the woods. It was kind of eerie almost in a way, like angelic and eerie at the same time, but pretty cool location. On the way back, this was our main place we were going to stop at anyway. We stopped at the Bell Witch, and the Bell Witch, I'm sure if you guys are familiar, is one of the most, recognizable, cases in American history regarding a ghost or spirit somewhat trying to kill someone. And the court cases ruled it could have been a ghost and spirit. I don't know all the details of, the historical aspect of everything that supposedly took place regarding John Bell and his family at the Bell Witch Cave. He did, tell us some stories. The guide, when we got there, before we did a little EVP investigation in the cave. We went to the cabin site where the Bell family was at. I'm going to get into talking about a little bit about this because some red flags popping up. When I'm talking red flags, I have this little category of when I investigate a location, if I suspect a little bit of misleading going on, a little bit of hoaxing, maybe misleading the public, I kind of throw it into my red flag category. And I kind of got to put the Bell Witch Cave into that category, and I'll talk about why here in a minute. But anyway, we get to the Bell Witch Cave, and it's the location, the little building where you go into is a lot smaller than what I thought it was going to be. The little gift shop and the location where you check in. And, we went up to talk to him, told him, we were there. The guide went with us out to the cabin, told us some historical information regarding the cabin. Now, here's where it gets a little hokey, in my opinion. The cabin that sits on the Bell Witch site there in Tennessee is not the actual cabin that the Bells, owned or stayed in. It's a reconstructed cabin that was put there. And they claim that they're having, paranormal activity at this reconstructed cabin, which I'm not saying they're not having activity. They showed me a bunch of videos they had taken, and there was one pretty cool video that reminded me of some of the activity that had taken place at Pine Lawn Manor. One of the guides one night, they were making a video, an advertisement video for the Bell Witch Cave, and one of the guides got a rock thrown at him from behind, and you can see this rock kind of come down and bang by the steps. Now, it kind of looks similar to the objects being thrown at Pine Lawn Manor, so I'm not going to debunk that one. Most of the other pictures and stuff I can debunk. Any photographic evidence you give me, I'm pretty good at debunking photographic evidence of people claiming, they have paranormal anomalies on film or video, because a lot of it's dust particle, fog, mist, cobwebs, a finger in front of the lens or on the flash, 100 different things that can cause false anomalies that look like paranormal anomalies on film and video. But the house was pretty cool. It was a reconstructed site. Now, I'm not saying they're not having activity there just because it was a reconstructed site, because it sort of reminds me of our huts and cabins here in Crawford County. The Hudson Massacre took place here, in the Hudsonville area of Crawford County, and the Hudson cabins over there are not the original cabins, and they're not even on the location where the original Hudson Massacre took place. The Hudson Massacre took place a little ways away from those cabins, so they reconstructed that little village of cabins and put them there. But it kind of reminds me of that situation because they reconstructed the cabin and put it in a different location. Now, the guide told me the original cabin was 15 miles away from this one, which that's a long way away to even put your reconstructed cabin. So that was my first red flag right there. Why mislead people? Because I was asking him, if this was the location where the cabin was at. I'm not sure what they tell people in their actual tours or, when they're doing that, but I was asking a lot of questions. So I'm not saying they're misleading the public, but if you go there, just be expecting that the cabin is not the real cabin at the Bell Witch site. So it's a really cool place. We went back the trail, went to the cave. Now, there was no real incidents associated with the Bell Witch other than one event that actually took place at the cave, known as the Bell Witch Cave. So this entity or whatever that terrorized the Bell family, for a long period of time, they only had one reported incident, I believe, of something happening in the cave. And I guess the witch could be good or bad, according to legend. It just depends on, if she liked you, if she didn't like you. Well, some kids went into the cave and got stuck in the cave, and something pulled them out by their feet and saved these kids. Was one story back in the day of the Bell Witch actually being a good entity instead of a bad entity. But if you haven't heard the story of the Bell Witch, definitely research it, look it up, because we may be going back. But if we go back, it's because I'm interested in the cave itself, not because of the story of the Bell Witch, but because of something else they told me. I do believe there's probably activity in and around the cave. Up above the cave is, according to them, a Native American burial ground above the cave. So there's basically a burial ground on top of the cave, up above where you go. Now that interests me because I'm really interested in Native American history and, hauntings and paranormal events associated with Native Americans and Native American tribes. So we may go back to the cave and do a nighttime investigation and go live. I was talking with them about it, and we may try to gain access to John Bell's gravesite, which is located a little ways away in a woods. They gave me some contact information to contact the landowner and everything. I guess it's a secluded area. It's all grown up, but I would like to check into the gravesite of John Bell himself and see if we can get into EVP activity. So in the near future, we may be doing a nighttime. It'll probably be after Halloween season, probably into, maybe early November when we do this. But we may be returning to the Bell Witch Cave for a nighttime investigation and going live. I believe they're going to let us go live, they said, so on that investigation. But yeah, Ben's referring to some places. Going back to, I have a list of red flag locations, and I have a list of just total hoax locations. What Ben's referring to here, on my list of total hoax locations is, as you guys all know, was Willow's Weep. We investigated Willow's Weep in Indiana. Total hoax. There was a suicide that took place there, but the chair and everything that the guy has there at Willow's Weep, he claims it's a chair that the guy committed suicide in. The family says it's not. The family claims that the current owner, Dave Spinks, is lying about it. I 100% agree with the family. I think Dave Spinks is lying about it too, because we done a blood test at the chair. We did an actual, test on the chair in the blood. We swabbed the blood, and the blood came back negative. It was not human blood. It didn't come back positive for blood at all. So we do not believe that Willow's Weep is, anything like the owner is claiming it to be. And that's what Ben's talking about in the comment section there of houses we've debunked and everything. But a total hoax, in my opinion, Willow's Weep is over in Indiana. So if you are a team out there, absolutely do not investigate that location. I mean, you can if you want, but you're just wasting your time with a bunch of hoaxing. Another hoaxing location, I love to bring this stuff up because I love calling out people that fake stuff out in the paranormal world. Another location we investigated again that we called out and debunked completely was McPike Mansion over in Alton, Illinois, near St. Louis. McPike Mansion was total hoax, just because the owner, you cannot believe anything that happens there while the owner is around. Let me put it that way. The house has potential, but the McPike Mansion owner, Sharon, she hoaxed everything when we were there. We caught her stomping. We had cameras set up. She stomped on the floor above to make it sound like it was paranormal occurrences taking place. That right there just ruins your reputation. We were never going to come back. Of course, they don't want us back anyway because we debunked their, little shenanigan hoaxing they had going on. But anyway, McPike Mansion, Whispers Estate was another location over in Mitchell, Indiana that we investigated. Threw up a lot of red flags. The story's a hoax. I mean, the location might have some activity, but the whole story associated with Whispers Estate is a hoax. There was no girl named Rachel. The fire that took place, and there was actually from a lightning strike that took place. It wasn't anything that needed ghosts or spirits done to the location. But yeah, there's a lot of places, we've debunked that are just, nonsense. People just trying to, make their places sound a lot better than what they are. But another location was the Ashmore Estates that threw up red flags. Waverly Hills threw up red flags. I mean, Ashmore Estates up here, they have speakers running through the buildings. They wouldn't show us one of their control rooms. We were picking up a Wi-Fi signal inside the Ashmore Estates. Now, I've investigated the Ashmore Estates several times before Rob and Terry owned it. I investigated the location back in the day before, it was the big hype that it is. And we got a couple EVPs in there every once in a while. But the Ashmore Estates, recently, I'm not saying he's hoaxing anything, but when you've got a room you won't show the public, you've got speakers running all through the building because they have a haunted house in there where they play stuff, during their haunted house over these speakers. And we pick up a Wi-Fi signal in the building, and I call the owner and ask him if there's an active Wi-Fi signal in the building. He said there's no Wi-Fi going to the building, and he lied to me. That's a red flag. I'm not saying he's trying to hoax, but it's a red flag. Another one was the Ashmore or the Waverly Hills. That was another place. We kind of threw up some red flags because again, just a lot of strange stuff. They were claiming stuff was paranormal when it wasn't. We debunked the doors slamming as wind currents coming through the building. The guides kept saying it was paranormal. It was not. It was caused by the wind current. It sets up on a hill. Wind blows through that building all night long and slams doors. We watched doors open and shut by themselves. Got them on camera opening and shutting by themselves from wind currents and drafts and suction in the building causing it. And they still tried to claim it was paranormal stuff happening. But yeah, there's some places that threw up red flags, some places that are just complete, utter hoaxes. The Bell Witch Cave, like I say, it's enough that I want to go back just investigate the cave itself. I think the cave has potential. They were also telling me at the Bell Witch Cave about and now I don't know if this is true. Supposedly there were some remains of a Native American girl in there, and they were stolen. I can't remember what year they told me that happened, but it's been a while back that they removed the remains from the cave. Someone actually broke in and stole the remains of this Native American girl that they had buried in there. I guess a tribe had buried this Native American girl there because they didn't want to bury her anywhere else. Around there, they put her in the cave. He told me why. I can't remember off the top of my head why they done that, but her remains were later stolen. Now, that's an uneasy burial there, and a recipe for a haunting along with the Native American burial ground on top of the cave. So we may return to the Bell Witch Cave just for that purpose, to investigate the Native American aspect of it. Moving on to some of the other stuff here. I don't know what Ben's referring to here. Which place you referring to, Ben? Or maybe you're talking to somebody out in the comment section. I don't know. But yeah, we're going to be doing a lot of lives, hopefully, here in the near future. We got our haunted tour season coming up. That's what I'm getting ready to announce too. We have got a lot of stuff on the schedule for this year's haunted tours. We've got a brand new building in place. I've been talking about the old jail and City Hall in Bridgeport. I'm going to be talking about here in a minute. Before we get into that, though, let's see here. if I had any more announcements. I'll talk about what happened to us at Pine Lawn Manor last Saturday night too. We've been going out, guys. We just haven't been going live. We've been hitting the ghost stuff pretty hard again here lately. So, um, but I'm going to start out with our talk about our haunted tours and what we're going to be doing. Well, it looks like I got quite a few of you back on here. Looks like people can see and hear me now. We're going to start out September 30th. And this is, right now, this is sort of our official, unofficial schedule. You're going to hear it first here on our talk shows. I'm going to put an official schedule out on the Facebook page as soon as I get all this typed up. But it is subject to change from what I'm telling you tonight, because I still am in contact with a couple other building owners that may or may not let us into locations in Lawrenceville. So we may have some more to throw on the list before then. But what we're going to do this year, we're going to do stuff a little bit different. On September 30th, we're going to kick off our haunted tour season for this year. Started off, and it's going to go into the first week of October. We're going to do a Lawrence County haunted tour on the 30th of September. And it's going to start at 7 p.m. And this is our most expensive tour, guys. It's $25 a person. And let me explain why it's that high. Usually we don't like to charge that amount. You know, I know that's cheap compared to some haunted tours and places that charge, you know, to investigate locations. But the reason we're going a little higher, most of the rest of them are going to be $20 to $10. But this one's going to be a $25 charge per person. It's going to be a Lawrence County haunted tour, and we're going to start out retracing the steps of Elizabeth Betsy Reed. So instead of having the Betsy Reed tours, we decided to go with a full Lawrence County tour, and we're going to start out at the location, you know, where Elizabeth Betsy Reed was baptized, and some of the locations regarding, you know, our documentary we done that was on Amazon Prime, The Hanging of Betsy Reed, that Joe Turry produced, we helped with. So it's going to be really cool regarding that. So you're going to get the full Betsy Reed story in with this tour, along with, you know, it's going to be 3 or 4 outdoor locations, along with 4 to 5 buildings that we're going to be taking you guys through. And it's going to be really cool. And it's going to take a long time because, like I say, we're going to start at 7 p.m. and we've got 4 buildings to go through in Lawrence County. We're probably going to go through, we're going to do the Lawrenceville Masonic Lodge. I got a couple on the back burner that I'm waiting on them to let me know, so I'm not going to announce them until we get those. But we got the Masonic Lodge, we got the Methodist Village we're going to be doing. We're going to be going through the old jail and City Hall in Bridgeport, and we're going to end up at Pine Lawn Manor over in Sumner. Now, we thought we were going to be able to do the Poor Farm there in Bridgeport. I talked to the son of the owner, and he was going to let us, and then owner decided not to let us have a public tour there. We'd investigated the old Poor Farm there in Lawrence County several times over the past few years, and it's pretty active. It's kind of a sister building to the Ashmore Estates. It was built the same time period as the Ashmore Estates. You know, the Ashmore Estates was built as a county poor farm also. You know, this same way with the one down here in Lawrenceville. And it looks just like, you know, the Ashmore Estates, and nobody knows about it. It sits right there, you know, off of 50 there going into Bridgeport. Can't remember what gas station that is. You turn right there off of 50 where the gas station is, and the old county poor farm sits right there on your left if you're heading toward Bridgeport. Well, we investigated that, you know, years ago and got some pretty good activity. We had 92.9 radio station there with us on one occasion. Just some pretty cool stuff. EVP activity there at the old county poor farm that was pretty amazing, really. I remember we got an EVP of a woman saying she had drowned in the bathtub. I mean, just straight out voice, I drowned in the bathtub. So that's cool. Thank you. She said it's right next to the KVJ's gas station. So yeah, it's right in that area if you guys don't know where it's at. But that's one of the locations we looked into putting on the tour, and we don't think, you know, we're going to do it liability reason wise and the owners and stuff. So but we are going to take you guys through, you know, several buildings. Another location we'd investigated down in the Lawrence County area was the Armory, the Lawrenceville Armory, the National Guard Armory located down there. And I tried to get it put on the list, and I was talking with the city and the town about it, and it's still ran by the state. So it's kind of in limbo right now. the city's trying to take that building over. I talked to the police chief, Jim White, there in Lawrenceville. City's getting ready to take the building over possibly the beginning of the year. So we're going to see if we can go that route and get back into that location and investigate. During the time period of when it was the National Guard Armory, we kind of had to keep it on the down low when we were investigating it. But they had several strange occurrences take place there at the armory where they were seeing things, hearing things, and several individuals, involved in the haunting. We think like the haunting was caused by, there was a worker that passed away in the duct work or tunnel work making the building. It's kind of like a little, it's like a little tunnel that goes all the way around the base of the building. And the story was somebody passed away during the process of making the building. And we believe he may still be haunting the location. And there was also a young man that passed away in a car wreck that was a member of the National Guard Armory. And they thought he had been seen in there a couple times also. So I'm not going to name any names or anything. And along with the individuals that, might have passed away in conflicts and stuff, so it's just different stuff that could be haunting the armory. We did hear footsteps in the gymnasium when we investigated the armory, and we recorded it on audio and video, and squeaking. Now they do drills in there. That's where they do drills. It's like a basketball court in there, if you've never been in there. And we had our cameras and everything set up in there, and we started hearing squeaking on the floors, like somebody playing basketball or doing drills where, you can hear, sneakers or shoes squeaking on the floor, and no one was there. I mean, it just sounded like almost like 3 or 4 people just started moving around and making noise in there. And just, we have no explanation for that. Got all of that on audio and video, years back. So the Armory was a location we were going to try to get on there, but we can't due to it being in limbo. It's still owned by the state, and the city may be taking it over next year. So maybe something we get into next year. We'll see how that, works for us. But again, we're going to do the haunted Lawrence County tours. They're going to be pretty cool. It's probably going to last till who knows what time in the morning, maybe 4 or 5 in the morning. That one will. That's September the 30th. October 1st, we're going to do our Crawford County haunted tours here in Crawford. They're going to start at 7 p.m. And we'll probably leave from the Oblong Park. So October 1st, and that'll be $20 a person for those. We're starting there at the Oblong Park. And it's going to be somewhat of a continuation of the Betsy Reed story if you guys take the Lawrence County tour. Because the Betsy Reed story starts out in Crawford, goes to Lawrence, comes back to Crawford. If you haven't watched the documentary, definitely check that out or research it. But so the Betsy Reed story covers Lawrence and Crawford County. So we're doing those 2 tours back to back so you guys can see the Lawrence County sites on the 30th and the Crawford County site, which will end at Baker Cemetery on the 1st of October. And of course, the Crawford County tour will include more than just Betsy Reed. We're going to, do our normal route. We've got a couple new, locations we're going to throw in there, and it's going to be pretty cool. So the 7th of October, we're going to do the old jail there in Bridgeport, Illinois, the old City Hall and jail. That's going to start at 7 p.m. It will be $20 per person. Again, you guys can sign up on our Facebook page for any of these tours and events I'm talking about tonight. And I'm going to have the actual schedule put on the page sometime this week when I get time. The 8th of October is going to be Pine Lawn Manor. Going to be 7 p.m., $20 a person. So that's going to be a good one. And then the 9th, we are going to be at the Methodist Village. Now, that's a Sunday. So October the 9th is on a Sunday. The only reason we're going to do it on a Sunday is because the full moon's taking place that day. The October full moon's on the 9th of October. Last year, we had it on Halloween here last year before. That was pretty cool. But it's going to be $10 a person because we're only going from 7 p.m. to 12 midnight because it's a Sunday night. So if you want a cheap tour and you want to see the Methodist Village, and just to update you guys on the Methodist Village, it has been crazy regarding the owners and the twists and turns. We can't go in there. It's going to be not available in 40 days. It may not be available here and there. I mean, we have just been on a roller coaster ride with the new owner regarding, when it's going to be available, or when it's not going to be available. Let me put it that way. He keeps telling us 40 days, 40 days, 40 days, and nothing's ever been done in there. He gave us permission to investigate the location until renovations start, and we have not heard anything about when those renovations are going to start now, because he told us they were going to start about, I don't know, way over 80 days ago or more. So we're just kind of hanging in there on the Methodist Village. Like I say, he gave us permission to do it until the renovation process starts, and we'll see when that happens. If for some odd reason it starts in October, we'll have to cancel these tours. But as of right now, it doesn't look like they're going to do it. So it's just been a back and forth journey on that. And I apologize to the public, because we've announced, this is going to be the last tour at the Methodist Village. This is going to be the last investigation at the Methodist Village, because that's what we were told, and then we just keep getting told otherwise. So, like I said, I apologize to you guys in that aspect, because we've been advertising that village as though this is the last time. We were investigating it like it was our last time. And we really don't know, when we go in there, if it is going to be our last time, because we don't know when it's going to start. He just keeps dragging the process out. So that's all I'm going to say about the place right now. Whether it's going to happen like he says it is, I don't know. Like the owner says it's going to happen. They're wanting to turn it into either a senior citizen place or some, form of even medical place. I'm not sure what their exact goal is going to be, but I don't know if it's going to happen. I'll just leave it at that. But anyway, Methodist Village is on our tour list right now. So we're going to be there on the 9th, which is a Sunday night. October 14th, we're going to be returning to the Edward Dobbins Masonic Lodge in Lawrenceville, oldest building in Lawrence County. Going to do our haunted tours there again. That'll be a haunted overnight for $20 per person. And again, all this money that we make on these tours, guys, goes back to the building owners, the business, the people there at the Masonic Lodge. It basically goes back to the lodge members for the Masonic Lodge, because we donate that money back to them for upkeep and, just the restoration of the building, to help buy anything they may need. I mean, they have electric bills and everything. So all our money, like I say, for these sites, we do, donate back to the owners of the facilities. So we definitely are not getting rich off this. We're making, we're trying to keep these old historical sites available to the public and available for, legitimate teams like us to investigate. So, the future teams can hopefully investigate it by us, helping donate money back to them. We can keep the power on. We can keep, the buildings up to date. The Methodist Village during the last storm had a problem in the chapel roof, that part of the roof fell in. So there was a giant hole in the chapel roof of the Methodist Village. It was leaking into it. So, I mean, these buildings are old. They need upkeep. And, by us doing these haunted tours in these buildings, it helps us, give back to the building owners to help keep these buildings going, so you guys can see them and enjoy them like we can. And we've been doing haunted tours and stuff in some of these locations. We've had a lot of teams into the Methodist Village here lately to investigate. Some of them were, so I'm going to kind of give them a little plug here. The Soul Searching Supernatural Society, they came in and investigated. Really cool group of girls there. They went live, I believe, also. It's kind of giving them a little plug. Who's Your Haunts was, dropped my card. Who's Your Haunts was in there. Here's their card. Check out their website also. They're from the Indiana area, obviously. But they've got a Facebook page and everything. Cool group of people there, too. Got some activity that night. They were getting some weird stuff on a EMF rope, which, you lay that EMF rope out, and it's got lights down it, basically. And you can trip different sections of the rope. And if something's coming towards you, different sections of that rope will light up. It's, it's a newer EMF style meter they've got out there right now. And we also got some pretty good activity with one of the teams that came in recently at the Methodist Village with a REM pod. they were getting extreme communication with a REM pod in the Methodist Village. I mean, just intelligent communication. There was no explaining why this REM pod was going off like it was. So it seems like each team we have come in there, and I guess we like to bring other teams into these locations, that we've documented having paranormal activity to see if they pick up some of the things we do or similar things we do. So we're not the only group in there. But yeah, they came in, investigated. Last team we had in there a couple weekends ago, last weekend was the Midwest Ghost Society, and they went live. Pretty cool group there too. If I can get that card up in there, you guys can see it. But follow them on Facebook and stuff as well. Really cool group of ladies, and there was also a male with them. But really strange things happened on that investigation. I'm going to get into toward the later bit of the show because I want to go ahead and finish announcing the haunted tour list here because I didn't get all the way through it. But I'm going to go back to what happened while the Midwest Ghost Society was in the Methodist Village. It was kind of a personal experience for me that was pretty shocking, actually. So stay tuned for that. But on the 14th, like I say, October, Masonic Lodge there in Lawrenceville. 15th is going to be a double header. We're going to have the jail, the old City Hall and jail, and Pine Lawn Manor. And we're going to do the Pine Lawn Manor. It's going to be the 15th into the 16th there. And this one, I forgot, like I said, $25 is the highest one. We're doing a double header here. So we're doing $30 on it. So you can go back and forth, or you can only pay $20 and just do one. But we're going to be set up at the jail in Old City Hall and Pine Lawn Manor on October 15th. It's going to start at 7 p.m. and you check in at Pine Lawn Manor. If you want to pay $30, you can go back and forth between the jail and Pine Lawn Manor all night, or $20, you can just stay at one location, one or the other of your choice. Again, that money goes back to the building owners, So again, we're trying to help them out this year. So that's going to be really cool. So we're doing a double header there on the 15th of where you can, buy a ticket and go two different places. And they're not very far away. One's in Sumner and one's in Bridgeport. So you can travel between Sumner and Bridgeport and come back and forth. If you decide, there's no activity going on at one location, come back to the other. The 21st and 22nd. 21st, we're going to be doing the Crawford County, October 21st, Crawford County Haunted Tours, 7 p.m., leaving from the Oblong Park. And then the next night, we're going to be doing the Lawrence County Haunted Tours. And we're going to be leaving the Lawrence County Haunted Tours from the United Methodist Village, the park and parking lot right there by the United Methodist Village. We're going to be leaving and starting the Lawrence County Tours on the 22nd from there. Sorry, guys, got to get through this tour list, and I'll get back into the cool stuff. But I just want to throw this out there because this is going to come up quick. The 28th, we're going to be doing the Methodist Village, 7 p.m., an all-nighter. The 29th of October, we're going to be doing the Masonic Lodge on the 29th. Actually, the 14th, we may flip the Masonic Lodge to something else. That one's in debate right now. The 29th is the Masonic Lodge again, Edward Dobbins Masonic Lodge there in Lawrenceville, Illinois. And then on October 30th, 31st, and 1st, we are doing a Pine Lawn triple header. Now, the bad thing about this is, guys, Halloween doesn't fall really on a weekend. So we're going to be doing that into like Monday and Tuesday night. But we're going to do 3 nights, the 30th, 31st, and the 1st. Going to be there all 3 nights at Pine Lawn Manor for a haunted tour, because last year is when it went absolutely crazy at Pine Lawn Manor, the 30th into the 31st. We got close to I think it was 80 objects thrown at us in one night. That was a record. Then going into November 1st, which is known as All Souls Day, and I did a Halloween special last year, telling the history of Halloween and All Souls Day. If you guys haven't seen that, go back and watch that. I don't know if I'll do a Halloween episode this year or not, but it has very, there's a lot of stuff that takes place that day also, with Halloween being the veil, and Supposedly it's supposed to be the thinnest between this world and the next, going all into November 1st. But November 1st last year is when, I believe it was the 31st into the 1st, is when we got blood on the walls of Pine Lawn. The walls started bleeding, and I've still not seen anything like it in my life. Pine Lawn Manor is still the most haunted place on the planet. I've still not found a place that even compares to the location. The walls were bleeding and wrote out a message in blood right in front of me last year on that. I may be getting my days mixed up. It was 31st into November 1st, I believe, is when that happened. And the night before that, we got like 80 some marbles thrown at us, but it just went crazy. So definitely hit the Pine Lawn Manor tours this year too. We're doing the one. That one is close to the full moon. So another good Pine Lawn Manor tour for you guys to hit would be that one on the 8th, because the 9th will be the full moon. So the 8th at Pine Lawn will be a good night too. But we'll get it out. We'll get the schedule out so you guys can, you don't have to go back through the video and figure out all these dates. But just want to let you guys know what was going on this year with our haunted tours, and we may have 2 more buildings in the works for the Lawrence County Haunted Tour. What else do I have here to talk about? Going back to what happened at the Methodist Village when the Midwest Ghost Society was here last weekend. Now, it's kind of personal, and I didn't expect any of this to even happen. And I'm not trying to talk. It kind of bothers me talking about it, but we were investigating in what was the Dicus area of the United Methodist Village with the Midwest Ghost Society. I believe there was 4 or 5 of them present, and then 3 or 4 of us. We were in room 224, which was Sarah Kimmel's room. And if you guys have taken one of our Methodist Village tours, that's one of the rooms we get a lot of activity in now. And Sarah Kimmel was one of the ladies that my team member found passed away in there, unfortunately. Well, one of my ex-team members found passed away in there, unfortunately, when she was a CNA there, I believe. So the story of Sarah Kimmel just keeps continuing in the Methodist Village. There was a picture we found with her name on the back of it. We took it back to her room where she passed away, and the lights would come on in that room and all sorts of strange things. And when the owners told me we probably weren't going to be able to get back in there, and we thought it was going to be our last investigation, I got permission from them to take that picture home. And I took the picture home. As soon as I got the picture at my house, it started flying off the wall over here. I put it in my haunted room here that I'm sitting in with all my haunted objects I've collected. I'll have to take you guys a video tour of my haunted objects some night and show you this. But the picture just started flying off the wall in here. Every time I put it up, it'd fly off the wall. I put it up, it'd fly off the wall. Right in front of me one day. I said, Sarah, if you're here, throw that picture off the wall. The picture flew off the wall. I'm not joking. So the Sarah Kimmel story continues. We had a lady that Courtney knows that she works with. She started working at the same location as Courtney. She wanted to see the Methodist Village because she had a family member that passed away there. We take her to the Methodist Village, and she brings the funeral paper with her. We didn't know who it was, what family member she was associated with. We get there, and it was one of Sarah Kimmel's relatives. She had Sarah Kimmel's, the little papers they give you at the visitations and funerals. She had that paper with her with Sarah Kimmel's, information and stuff on it from the visitation. And Sarah Kimmel was our family member. Just weird coincidences with Sarah. And, we've talked with several of our family members, and they've been there on the tours and gotten weird stuff. So just a lot of strange things going on at the village. The village is getting more active. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if they know that the renovating process is soon. Maybe they know something we don't. But the village is taking off. Pine Lawn Manor is still number 1 on my most haunted places list. But the village is now number 2, and it wasn't. After we've had these other teams in there, activities really exploded in there. And just more crazy events and crazy things have taken place in there. People are seeing apparitions, on a frequent basis. I was in the Otten Center which is where the dementia patients were kept here last weekend and the weekend. Last weekend, I believe, is when I was in there, and the door got hit extremely hard. It sounded like somebody scratched it and hit the door in the Otten Center, and they were all standing there and heard it. Just a lot of activity increasing in the village. So, Jalen's one of my team members from the Terre Haute area, guys. He says it's number one in my book after our experience. Me and Jalen was in there around 5. It was like 5:15 in the morning, I think it was. We were winding down from one of our haunted tours, and not much had happened during that one. We'd fired up, I believe, some plasma balls and some EMF pumps and generators in the hallway just to see if we could spike up any activity or increase any activity in the building. And we were kind of sitting in one of the rooms, I believe it was room 181 in the Otten Center. Me and Jalen and a couple other people were sitting in there. And we were about dozing off. I mean, we were getting tired. All of a sudden, we were trying to get it to knock, though. I said, if anyone's here, please knock as you come in. Let us know you're here because we want to communicate with you and associate with you. You know, I always tell them we're their friends, and we try to communicate with these ghosts and spirits. Well, we're sitting there, and boom, boom, boom. I mean, something just pounds on the door. And I think I played that on my show, you know, when it happened last year. Just amazing activity. I mean, there was no doubt. We had video cameras set up in the hallways. We had our camera system, infrared camera system, monitoring the hallway, the room, everything. No one was in the hallway. We went back, we reviewed the footage. No one made those knocks on the door. It was paranormal. And that's why Jalen says it's the number one in his book after his experience. I mean, just unbelievable, like knocks. I mean, and it was like human knocks on the door. You know, you can tell a difference. And yeah, he was really skeptical. He didn't believe in this stuff, guys. You know, that's why he came with us, started going with our team. You know, he'd been with a couple other teams, went out on some of their outings and stuff, didn't experience a whole lot. Came to the village, had this happen. Says I was never a believer until that happened. Everyone who tells me it's fake, I'll pull the recording up of the knocks. Yeah, I mean, you can't deny evidence. And, you know, that's why we try to document everything that takes place, you know, with audio evidence, video evidence. So, you know, we can back up what we're telling you is happening. And we'll try to debunk our own stuff if we think we can. And I have debunked my own stuff in the past. You know, I've got recordings of what I thought were apparitions. And come to find out, one of my team members didn't tell me the correct information about where people were located in the building at the current time those were sighted. And it ended up being a couple people leaving the building. So I debunked my own, you know, our own video there. But yeah, I will try to debunk anything we get. So if we put something up, I mean, it's something I can't explain. The marble in Pine Lawn Manor, it is still up on my page. I still cannot explain that. I got hit by a marble. We caught it on live feed. Didn't even know that I'd captured it until, you know, all the fans and viewers out there went back and told me, hey, go look, you guys captured that marble hitting you. So we clipped out the live feed and posted it straight from the live feed, you know. So there's no manipulation of video there. There's no, you know, adding things in like people can do on their YouTube videos. That's why I don't like going live or posting YouTube or posting video up when we're not live, because I want to be live. You can't fake live. I mean, yeah, you could have somebody hiding somewhere and fake something, but you can't video manipulate live. You can't add stuff in. You know, that's why I like to go live and show you guys this is legitimate paranormal activity that we're capturing. You know, sure, could there be somebody hiding in the dark that you can't see on the live feed? Absolutely, but that's not what's happening, you know. I would definitely kick anybody out trying that. We had a couple tours where some ladies tried throwing pennies last year to make it look like, you know, activity was occurring at Methodist Village. And we had not had any pennies previously thrown at the Methodist Village. So I thought that's extremely weird. And it was one of the ladies that went on our Pine Lawn tour. I know she wasn't throwing it at Pine Lawn because it came from nowhere, but I actually caught her on video at Methodist Village throwing the pennies, and we kicked her, banned her permanently from our haunted tours. So I don't know, she thought it would be cool to try to make something happen there because it was boring that night. Nothing was going on. She started throwing this stuff, trying to make it seem like, you know, we had activity, but we kicked her straight out, never to return again. Like I said, I'm hardcore with that. If you fake anything on my tours or you fake any activity or anything, we will kick you out and you will be banned from our events for life because we are actually, in this for the research. So yeah, Deb said that marble was cool. I know I still can't get over that. I mean, it was crazy, and you could actually hear it hit me. And we found the marble, where it had hit me and fell on the floor. So pretty neat. Uh, but yeah, the Masonic Law, or the Methodist Village. I got too many notes here. Going back into what happened to me with the personal stuff, the Methodist Village. We were in Sarah Kimmel's room, and we're trying to communicate with Sarah Kimmel in room 224 of the Methodist Village. The Midwest Ghost Society was there with me, and we were doing what's called the Estes method. Why they call it the Estes method, I don't really know. They claim it was invented in the Estes, Colorado by the Stanley Hotel, but we were doing this method as soon as the ghost box came out. We called it the sensory deprivation method, and somebody always likes to claim and put their name onto, things, but Estes Park, Stanley Hotel, we've investigated it out in Colorado, but that's where suppose this method originated, I guess, why they call it that. But what it is, you put a blindfold on and you've got a ghost box, going, and you've got headphones on with the ghost box in someone, going into somebody's ear where they can hear it, and you've got a blindfold on, and another person somewhere, they don't even have to be in the same room. They could be in a different, location in the building if you want to take it that far. But we were in the same room. But you can do it a lot of different ways, but we've always called it the sensory deprivation method. The person listening to the ghost box through their earphones cannot see or hear what you're saying. So if I ask, is there anyone here in the room present with me tonight? Can you tell me your name? She can't hear me or see me saying that, but she's going to relay to me anything that comes over that device, and she's going to speak it out loud, and tell us what she's hearing through the ghost box, through the headphones. So like I say, we always called it the sensory deprivation method, and we've been doing it for a long time, since like the Hack Shack, the Shack Hack came out, and the Frank's box, and I mean, we've been doing that method for a long time. I mean, we've been experimenting with ITC, instrumental transcommunication, EVP, and everything, because that's my specialty. We've done experiments that, like, I probably don't even want to talk about on here. You guys think we were crazy, but if it's ITC and EVP experiments, we've done it. I mean, we've been dealing with this stuff and experimenting with this stuff for like 26 years. Well, the ghost boxes, came about later. We've been researching magnetic audio tape, and then the digital recorders, and then it evolved into ghost boxes, and now it's evolving into some of these stupid apps people are using, which are fake, like the Necrophonics app, and all these ghost box apps that are just completely garbage. And there's just a lot of apps that are just nonsense out there that people are using to try to do ITC sessions with now. But anyway, back to what happened. She's doing this Estes method. The sensory deprivation method is what I like to call it, with the blindfold on. I'm asking questions over there, and we're trying to specifically communicate with Sarah Kimmel. That's the reason we went in there. We went in there to communicate with Sarah because we're in room 224 of the Methodist Village. That was Sarah's room. That was the room she passed away in, and we've had a lot of communication from her in past events, at that location. So we started asking questions. I was asking for Sarah. A lot of people were coming through. It was hit and miss. A lot of people coming through. And then, like I said, it's kind of personal. So all of a sudden, I started getting kind of family messages coming through, personal messages coming through, people in my life that have passed away. And you guys, I'm sure I mean, I talked about it in a previous show and had it on the page as to why I was kind of took a little break and out for a little while. My dad had been in an accident where he'd been hit by a car on a side-by-side ATV, and I responded to it. It was the first one there, and he passed away. I was airlifted to Indianapolis and passed away there. And my cousin was also in the wreck, passed away. So I had a little family deal with that, and I kind of talked about a little on my past show. But anyway, strange things have been happening in my life since then. I mean, he's definitely communicating with me. I've had strange things happen around my house. like I say, is the papers from his funeral, the little papers would lined up across my windowsill. Just all kinds of stuff's been taking place. But I went into that room to communicate with Sarah Kimmel. I had no clue any of my family members would come through. And, I'm asking, is there anyone here? Is there anyone here? And my dad was never associated with the Methodist Village, really. My grandparents were there at one time, but not my dad. All of a sudden, we started getting stuff pertaining to my dad and the wreck that took place. And my mom's passed away too. Her name was Patty. She came through first and said Patty and said she was dancing out in the hallway. And I thought, oh, this is kind of a weird coincidence as we're trying to communicate with Sarah. And, these people, just to let you guys know, I have never met this team. The Midwest Ghost Society, I had never met any of them. They were extremely nice ladies. I mean, we had a blast with them. And, I tried to share some of my techniques with them and share information and stuff. And we've never met these ladies in my life. They've got this blindfold and headphones on. I'm asking the questions. They're blind. One of them is blindfolded and got the headphones on. And this stuff's coming through about my life that they know nothing about. They could have went on my Facebook page and maybe seen some of it, but the details of what came across that I don't really want to talk about, because some of it involves details from the scene, that only like me and my dad, being there, passing away, and would know about. I mean, some of the things she told me, some of the things that came across this ghost box while she had this method going was just unbelievable communication with my dad. So, I mean, his name came across, said Jack, it said sporting store, which, we have a Snyder Sporting Goods store where we sell guns. We have a gun shop. And it kept saying sporting store, sporting store. She kept saying that. She knew nothing about that. I mean, like I say, this lady does not know me other than I was their tour guide, and, I run the Crawford County, Illinois Ghost Hunter Society. I mean, she doesn't know anything about my personal life. And she was saying all this personal life stuff that she would not have known. I mean, my dad's name came across. He said, this is Jackie. And this is the funny part. My dad hated being called Jackie, but that's a way for him to identify that it's specifically him, because he always wanted to be called Jack. His real name was Jackie. And it kept saying, my name, it's Jackie, it's Jackie. And then it said Jack, it just kept saying his name. And it went into detail about the wreck, and he was coming up from the south. He tried to steer, he got hit. He said that at one point in the conversation, he was actually saying, this is crazy. I can't believe I can talk to you like this. I can't believe I can communicate. This is amazing. And we were having this conversation like back and forth, and it got into the details of stuff that she couldn't have known. Like I say, about how they were injured and just stuff she couldn't have known about. Said they were airlifted. Just a crazy happening of me communicating with a family member by just total accident. And the point of this being too, and I tried to explain this to people, and it just proves my point a million times regarding ITC, which is instrumental trance communication and communicating with the dead. If you're using recorders to communicate with the dead, any type of electronic means to communicate with the other side, you're not necessarily communicating with somebody that passed away at that location. I try to tell people, you can't say a location is haunted because you pick up an EVP at a particular location, or you pick up intelligent ghost box communication at a specific location. It's like a telephone to the other side when it works. And Thomas Edison, he was working on developing a telephone to the other side, and it may even be somewhat in the form of what we have now. The ghost box scans through AM/FM radio stations. It's usually a digital radio, and what you do is you clip the mute function in these ghost box. That's how they function. That's how they work, and it allows that device to continuously scan through the channels and frequencies without stopping. And you get a lot of white noise. You get a lot of clips of stuff coming across the airwaves in there of FM radio channels and stuff. But the thing is, it's in between this stuff you got to listen for it. Sometimes they'll take clips of snips of different words and form sentences. And you've got to be extremely careful because there's what's called audio pareidolia. And some people, they want to hear things that's not there. And you've got to be extremely careful that you're getting intelligent communication instead of audio pareidolia, and make sure that it's intelligent communication associated with what you're asking. Like I say, you cannot determine a place is haunted from, in my opinion, from EVP unless it's intelligently talking about that location. If you get a guy that, died at the Methodist Village, and I get an EVP that says, I died at the Methodist Village, obviously, that guy is still there and he's associated with that building. But anybody else coming through could be anywhere, anybody from anywhere, who knows where, other dimensions even. Sarah Estep, she was the founder of the American Association for Electronic Voice Phenomena, and they made the movie White Noise based off of some of her research and stuff that she had conducted. I actually knew Sarah and had talked to her, and I've actually got some of her tapes she'd sent me later on before she died. I've got some other stuff she'd sent me, but she had talked with us on our radio show a couple of times. We called, talked to her before she passed away. That was way back when I was, helping Todd Bates and Haunted Voices Radio. I got Todd going into that, and he's still doing his radio stuff. And it's like, but Sarah, like I say, she was the founder of the American Association for Electronic Voice Phenomena. And she believed also, that you could communicate with not only people here, but other entities from different dimensions. And it goes into dimensional beings and entities, that we may not even know what we're talking to. I haven't went through all her tapes she sent me, but I mean, I need to digitalize them and put them into digital form because these are old cassette tapes. So I need to put them on the computer and go through them all. But there's just stuff that you can't explain, and that's why EVP is like my area that I research the most. I can debunk photographs, I can debunk video, I can debunk 90% of the photographs that you put in front of me. But when you get an intelligent response coming across there, especially a recorder with nothing previously recorded on it, or a blank audio cassette, and you play the audio cassette back, old magnetic tape style, and you've got an EVP, electronic voice phenomena, a voice from the other side, or some type of intelligent communication on there, you cannot explain that. Especially, we take a strict approach when we're recording EVP. We do 3 to 5 minute segments of complete silence. If anybody talks, we note it. We'll know, hey, somebody talk. We don't want anybody to talk, but if they do, if we've got an outsider with us that happens to talk, we'll say note talking. Or if we hear talking in the surrounding environment, we note talking, we note stomach growls, we know any type of external environmental sound. So when we go back to listen to these sessions, we can, try to debunk anything that might sound like an actual EVP, and rule it out. But they have class A, B, and C EVPs, class R EVPs. You can play them in reverse. There's different classifications. The class A are the best ones. B, are audible, but it's human voice. C gets a little worse. It's human voice, but you can't make out really what it's saying. But we like those class A EVPs, and a lot of times they have a reverse meaning too. You can play these recordings in reverse, and it's like reading the subconscious mind of that individual if they have one. And that goes into a whole deeper conversation, which we'll get into EVP stuff again in another show. But the ITC kind of developed later on, after the straight out EVP research with recorders, digital recorders, magnetic, cassette recorders, the reel to reel back in the day. Just a lot of EVP researchers throughout the years have been documenting voices they can't explain on their electronic devices. And that is cool because the dead are trying to communicate with us. Why? I don't know. Maybe it's to warn us, maybe it's to comfort us, maybe it's to let us know there is another side, somewhere else we go after we pass away. And to me, it's comforting, to know that this is real. You can't explain some of the things that I can't explain some of the things that I have seen and heard in my 26 years of doing paranormal research and investigating claims of unusual phenomena. there's just some things I can't explain. Pylon Manor being one of them. But the ITC research that they're leading into with now today's ghost boxes, you got to be extremely careful, like I say, and make sure it's intelligent communication. But there is absolutely no way that conversation between me and between that lady, me and my dad that took place in the Methodist Village last weekend, there's no way they could have faked that in any way. I mean, it was just unbelievable intelligent communication of stuff that they should not have known about. So, I mean, it just goes to show, like I say, you can talk to anybody. You don't know who's going to come through. I wasn't trying to contact him. It's like me trying to pick up a phone and dial in a random number and get somebody in California. You don't know who you're going to talk to sometimes. And that's what a lot of researchers out there have to take into consideration and not label one particular location haunted because they're doing an Estes method and they're getting intelligent responses. Just be careful if you are an investigator out there, and try to sort out the intelligent stuff and if it corresponds with that location. But what's Ben saying here? Ben says they're just bored and want to talk. Probably. Yeah. I mean, it could be that, you come into a new location and all of a sudden, boom, you get a lot of activity. But that's weird too. I mean, we've done research into, our new locations more active than older locations. It's just hit and miss. We may have a new location that's crazy active the first time, and then it never has anything else. Or we may have an old location we go to after 4 investigations and it starts getting active. It's just weird how this stuff works. We can't explain it. That's why it's the paranormal. I mean, it just keeps fooling me. Just when I think I know something, it throws another loop and I have to think about a theory or something differently. But I tell you what, I've still set up many nights trying to debunk, trying to come up with scientific and rational explanations for how objects fly through the air, teleport, and the apportation of objects and teleportation of objects like happens at Pine Lawn. There's just no explanation for it with it. Nothing can explain it at this current time unless we get into some of these weird theories like the CERN. I don't know if you guys have heard about that. It gets into a bunch of conspiracy theories though that CERN opened this doorway up and changed our reality. They're doing experiments with reality and changing our reality constantly. It's the whole Mandela effect, to where people think they watch a movie in a certain line, they said it a certain way, and that's not actually how it's on the movie now. It's called the Mandela effect, kind of getting into some, weird conspiracy, dimensional shift theories and stuff that goes pretty deep. But we'll have to have a show on some of that again, getting into the deep theories of conspiracy theories on how reality works and everything. But yeah, if anybody can, yeah, thank you, Linda. I appreciate that. Yeah, we try to debunk everything. It's like, and if I come up with an explanation someday for how a marble comes out of a solid wall or a coin, multiple, and this isn't just me seeing this. This is 30 people on my haunted tour every night, watching coins fly out of a solid wall, watching marbles roll out from underneath a door where there's a solid wall behind the door and nothing behind the door. I mean, no, it's a solid wall where the door butts up against, and the marbles are just rolling out from underneath there, a wall. Marbles flying out of empty rooms, down empty hallways toward me, not away. If you throw something, it's going away. If I'm trying to fake something, which I don't, I'm going to throw something like this, it's going to go away from me. These things come toward, especially the video I captured. And that's what's so cool about the live video where that marble hits me. It comes toward me, not away. And there's nobody there. I mean, you can see the door closed in the video, but it's a wall, a solid wall where the marble comes from. I mean, it's absolute smoking gun proof, that video of that marble, that it is real. Yeah, Karen's witnessed it. I mean, multiple people, have been on our tours and witnessed it. There's no explanation. And why it happens at one location, I still cannot figure it out. John, just read John Miller's comment. That's pretty scary too. Yeah, I still can't explain her. She pops up on every live feed. John, if I can debunk it, I'll let you know. But No, uh, no, that's one of my haunted objects back there. Strange things have happened with her, and we took her to the Methodist Village and set her up last year on some of our events. But here's Jalen talking about the marble. After I slowed the video down, the marble in the video also has no arch to it and is straight line to me. Yeah, that's weird too. Yeah, if you throw something, it's gonna have an arch, and this thing is just, I mean, yeah, like it's shot out of a gun. It's weird. And I mean, we've done experiments where I've taken thermal cameras in. I've taken non-contact infrared laser thermometers in, thermal imaging cameras, infrared cameras, EMF meters. I've documented that when the marbles hit the ground, they rotate in a counterclockwise direction, which is very weird. If you know anything about counterclockwise direction, nature operates in counterclockwise directions a lot. Tornadoes happen often in counterclockwise direction. You know, most of your tornadoes are counterclockwise. And when these marbles hit and land on the floor, they are rotating in a counterclockwise, and they will sit there and spin for like a minute to almost two sometimes. I mean, it just sits there and spins like it has that much energy. Like the marble itself is alive. I mean, it just sits there and spins. Some of them do. Some of these spinning marbles we have hit with the thermal imaging camera as soon as they land, and they're not warm from being in somebody's pocket or something. You know, if somebody were to fake it, which they come from nowhere, you know, we try to eliminate all possibilities. There could be an invisible man in there with some suit on, but you know, there's no temperature variation indicating that they were in somebody's pocket and they're warmer than they're supposed to be. They're usually room temperature, which is kind of weird. Same as the floor. It's like they blend in with the floor and they're the same temperature as the floor when they're counterclockwise when they hit. Yeah, one of them hit so hard it put a dent in the wall behind us, you know, there at Pine Lawn. Karen, yeah, she was there. And I can't believe this. I missed the golf ball. I was sick that day. That was our Christmas event. They got a golf ball thrown at them in there. I mean, they've thrown golf balls. They've thrown, you know, marbles, coins, plastic balls, you name it. I mean, dice. We got dice thrown at us one time, and just weird stuff. So, still the weirdest place I ever seen. Do the marbles have a fingerprint? No, they don't, Mike. And we've actually looked for that. We took powder. We tried one of my guys had a fingerprint dusting kit one time. We feathered him. There's no fingerprints that we could read. I mean, we're not complete crime scene investigators or anything, but to our knowledge, we couldn't pick a fingerprint up off of it. We've looked to see, you know, if there was dust removal. You know, maybe they had been sitting somewhere for a long period of time, and you can see fingerprints of the dust on them. I mean, we have thoroughly examined these marbles. I mean, to the point of, I don't know. I mean, just it's mind-boggling. I mean, I cannot explain it. And like my problem is, and my goal is to find another location that can produce this same activity. Yeah, the dice, the balls were actually from China, Karen. We had little balls thrown at them, and they said China on them, and that was weird. But going back into, yeah, I'm gonna tell a story about how I think Pylon's getting active again, Karen. To answer your question, we're definitely, I think, getting back into the cycle because. I'll just go ahead and tell you guys real quick because that was on my list of things to tell you that happened at Pylon this past Saturday night. I took a few people in there individually and privately just to, you know, I was trying to look around the building to try to clean some stuff up because it's pretty bad in there again. But I was looking through stuff, and we were sitting in there in Hall 3. We'd shut the lights out just to see if anything would happen to us. We're sitting in Hall 3, which is Red Hall. And it was one of the girls' birthday. My niece was with me, Elena, and she's 15, and her friend had just turned 16. It was actually her friend's 16th birthday, and she wanted to do something for her birthday that night too. So we took her to Pylon, and Courtney was there with us. And I'm trying to think if anybody else had been there. I think it was just us four sitting there at the time. We're just sitting there in the hallway on group 4 or group 3, hallway there. And I kept telling her, because it's really bad in there right now, and I got to get in there and clean. The birds have gotten in there. Somebody kicked our doors down, cut our locks off. So I got to get in there, lock it back up, clean it back up for the Halloween season. But we do have people watching it, so do not try to break in there. The neighbors are watching, so don't break in there, guys. But we're sitting there in hall 3, and I told her to get a mask on. We had black mask on because it was pretty moldy in there, and we're sitting there, and she didn't have a mask on. The 16-year-old girl, my Elena's friend, didn't, the birthday girl, because we were trying to get him to throw her something for her birthday. She didn't have a mask on. I said, you better wear a mask. I said, like, it's pretty nasty in here. I said, you better wear a mask so your allergy stuff don't go nuts. And Courtney didn't have a mask on either, just me and Elena. And I kept telling them how they need to go get a mask. We have these black masks on. And I said, get a mask, because I had a whole box of them out there. And I asked the ghosts and spirits to please throw her like some marbles or something for her birthday. And we were sitting there, nothing's happening. We turn the lights out. All of a sudden, you see this black thing floating through the air, like coming from the doorway of Hall 2 into Hall 3, and lands right in front of the girls who, it was her 16th birthday, lands right in front of her. And we turn the light on, and it's a black surgical dust mask that flew from hallway into Hall 3 and landed in front of her. And where it came from, we don't know. I counted the number of masks in my box. I think it was like a 25-pack of masks, and there was only 3 missing out of it. And I had on 2. I was double up, and Elena had on 1. And there was nothing missing out of the box of masks. And an identical black mask, just like we were wearing, flew right in front of her. We watched it fly from the hallway and float down onto the thing. So they're still there, because I'd ask them, I said, you guys need to show me you're still here. I'm bringing a group of people here again for Halloween. You guys need to let me know this is going to happen again. Show me the marbles, show me the coins, throw me something, please, to let me know you're here. And this mask just comes floating out of nowhere. I mean, the place just never ceases to amaze me. I mean, you never know what's going to fly at you. That's kind of what's scary. You never know what it's going to be. So I'd say it's starting to pick up, or they're saying, hey, we're here. Probably telling me to clean the place up, because it is pretty nasty in there. Because, like I say, the guy next door takes the doors off, and he trashes it before we can clean as quick as we can clean it up. But just have to deal with that right now. But we're gonna clean it up. Maybe they're telling us to clean it up a little because they threw the mask in there, but just weird. Luke said can't wait to go back. Yeah, I know. Yeah, Luke, you definitely need to join up with us again this year and check it out. It's going to be pretty cool. But yeah, definitely, guys. Check out our Facebook page. We're going to be going live. Maybe on some of these haunted tours, just depending, we'll kind of vote and see, if they want us to go live. I don't like to go live on haunted tours because it takes away some of the experience with the lights and everything, and people can't see. But I think Pylon's going to be active again. The mask flew. I think that was our sign that, hey, we're here still. I mean, we heard a lot of knocks, too. A lot of knocks, a lot of bangs, which we hear that all year round. But the objects and teleportation and apportation of objects, that usually is on a cycle of the end of September through the end of December. I mean, we've got it mapped out. I mean, we've got it like down to, an exact cycle of when this stuff pretty much takes place now. I mean, it's the last weekend in September, all through October, and all through November. It filters out a little, starts fading away in December, and for some reason picks up again close to Christmas, and then it's gone. When it hits the new year, the objects are gone. Don't know. I have no idea. I have no explanation for it. We haven't got anything hardly thrown at us in the spring and summer seasons. We don't get the objects thrown at us. It's on a cycle. So I don't know. I can't explain it. Maybe it's that time of year, and there is something to the Halloween time of year where the veil is thinnest between this world and the next. So that's something we'll probably never explain. But let me see here. You're not doing any annual scavenger hunt. No, Michael, I'm glad you asked that. No, we are not doing any of our scavenger hunts this year. I just don't think we have the time. We've got so many buildings to investigate and put on the tours this year. The scavenger hunt too is one of those things where like we only have so many haunted locations, and the first couple years it was cool, but if we get repeat people taking it, we can't invent more haunted locations around the area. So our scavenger hunt was kind of a 1 to 2 year event, if that makes sense. I mean, it was cool while it lasted and fun, but we're gonna have to think of something cool and new to do because, like, uh, we can't just come up with new haunted locations to put on our scavenger hunt. So that's the reason we're not doing it again this year. I mean, it would just be the same locations with different riddles or something to do the scavenger hunt, and everybody would know where to go. So it was kind of a 1 to 2 year thing. Three teams yeah, oh yeah, Karen's team won last year. So yeah. Well, something just popped up over my computer blocking it. No. All right. Yeah, I was gonna pop her comment up there, but yeah, her team won last year, but probably last year we were gonna do it. Unfortunately, we might redo it maybe next year or something. If we could find enough new locations that we can say are haunted. That's what we like to do. We put it at all the locations that we have experienced activity. But like I say, we can't create new locations, so eventually it's gonna have to go. We're gonna have to quit it. So, but yeah, no scavenger hunt this year. We're gonna do the tours, and there's also no Halloween party this year. We're not doing the Halloween party like we did last year at the Methodist Village. We are going to possibly, if people want to dress up in costume on Halloween night and come to our tours, more power to you. That'd be cool. If you guys all want to wear some crazy costume to Pylon Manor on the Halloween tours and stuff around there, feel free. It'd be pretty cool. But we're not going to have our Halloween party this year either, just because we've got so many tours and stuff going on. But I think that's all I had on the list for tonight, guys. I may have missed something here or there, but I will get the updated schedule put out on the page regarding our haunted tours and events coming up. So you guys can sign up for those on our page. Just make reservations. Last year, we were limiting the amount of people that were attending due to COVID and everything in the previous year. But I think this year we're just going to, as long as we don't hear anything otherwise, we're just going to, do unlimited, as many people can come as they want, but definitely make a reservation. You do have to make a reservation. And sorry, Mike, I just now seen your comment about has anything dangerous been thrown at me. The marbles were probably the most dangerous because they did make a dent behind me, but nothing has ever hit us with any force to hurt us. It's almost like they don't want to hurt us or can't hurt us. But nothing has been thrown at us with enough force to cause injury to us. Now, if one of the marbles would hit you directly in the eye, which, like I say, I think they have some rule, and this is weird. I'm going back into the show. I was getting ready to end it, guys, but he's pulling me off onto another topic here of weird stuff. I don't know if ghosts and spirits have rules. I don't know what the deal is. They can't hurt some people. We've only had one guy get physically hurt in there, and only that guy can determine whether he actually got hit or not. Whether he did, I don't know. It sounded like he got hit. There was a thud. There was a recorder going. It sounded like his knee got kicked. We had to take him out by ambulance during one of our haunted tours. He was hit in the kneecap, and I'm an EMT also. I'm licensed EMT, and I looked at him, and he wanted an ambulance, so we got him an ambulance, and they responded. I told the EMTs arriving on scene. I said, you're not going to believe this. This guy claims he got hit by a ghost or poltergeist, and he has a leg injury, in his patella, the knee area of his right leg. So we helped him out to the ambulance. That's the only physical thing I've ever seen happen, where a guy got hit. And again, you have to take that person's word for what they experienced there. I can't feel his pain. You can't feel his pain. Did it happen? I don't know. It looked legit, but people are good at faking stuff. But it seems like they have some type of rule where they cannot hurt you This guy, well, I'm gonna leave it at that because I don't want to say it online. I don't think they want to hurt the average person. The normal person, doesn't get hurt by these ghosts and spirits in Pine Lawn. It's like they can't hurt them because, like, I've had marbles whiz past my head like they're flying out of a slingshot, but they never hit me except for the one that hits me on the video, and it didn't hurt me. It was going slower. I mean, it was like boom, just hits bounces off my jacket and hits the floor, but you can hear it thud, which I had 2 layers on. Um, it didn't hit quite as bad as what a paintball feels. I mean, I don't know if you guys have played paintball, but it wasn't as much energy as what a paintball is when it hit me. But for some odd reason, I think they can't. I don't think they have permission to hurt people like that. I don't know, because these things will fly around you instead of hit you. I mean, if they drop on you, the velocity is not very, fast. It's like a slow moving object. When you get quarters dropped on you, people have been hit with things, but the objects aren't flying fast when they hit you. So it's like they're not trying to hurt you. They're trying to get your attention. So there's not really been any dangerous objects that I've been worried about in there. I mean, yeah, all these objects could become dangerous if they have enough velocity, but it's like they're not trying to hurt us, if that makes sense. So I'm not scared when I go in there. I'm not worried about it. Now, I'm scared of what's going to happen next just because of the surprise factor of it. That freaks me out a little, like the blood on the walls. That about did me in, and I about quit. But, it's still nothing that harmed me other than mentally, it messed me up a little. But that we've seen a lot of that stuff though over the years, and just can't explain it. But with the objects, going back to your question, yeah, I don't think there's anything really that's going to harm people in that building like that. But going back to Luke, I remember looking that up with you. Going back to her question, wasn't there a chair toss in the dining room at Pine Lawn one tour? Yes. There was a chair toss, but it flew over and slammed on the floor. It didn't like fly through the air. No one was sitting at the chair, and we were in the dining room area. And all of a sudden, the chair just boom slams. I mean, like you took it and just threw it as hard as you could against the floor, but it didn't hit anybody in the process of it. But yeah, that happened also, Karen. I'm glad you brought that up. There's been so many things I can't even remember and recall half of them. I need to write books upon books of just Pine Lawn Manor and what's taken place in there. But anyway, starting to approach the 10 o'clock time frame here. So I'm going to get off here, and I appreciate you guys watching the show tonight and all your questions and all the fans jumping back in here. I know we haven't had a show for a while. I apologize. I'm a little rusty. Internet went out at the beginning. I have no idea what happened right when I was talking about losing signal. So that was kind of weird. I've been having weird problems like that with the show when I get ready to start it. So if I say I'm having a show and I don't tell you why, it's probably because something weird took place and I can't get something to work. I'm not just skipping out and not having the show. So yeah, I'd like to thank you guys all for watching tonight, and we'll catch you on the next one. Stay tuned. Again, the show's going to be, we're going to hit them hard, through the Halloween season. They're going to be on the first and third Mondays as usual. We'll have another one on the third Monday, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. And thank you, Mike. He says that's his first-time viewer. That's awesome. We like to have first-time viewers. Thank you for watching. And hopefully you'll continue to watch our stuff and our investigations. And everybody out there, thank you guys. We will see you on the next one, and definitely sign up for our tours this year. They're going to be good. Have a good evening, everyone.